Good morning, everybody. My name is Gabriel Neves. I am technical manager at Trimble Solutions for Tekla structures, infrastructures. I'll present myself during the slideshow, if you don't mind. And I invite you to go back in time. Just set up this. Okay, this is me. I'm doing bridges for 30 years, and you know as well as me that we breathe and we think bridges. So everywhere we go, we are looking to the bridges when they are being built or being demolished or renovated, things like that. So I invite you to go back in time just to see how I started, and I guess here and there some people will identify your path with my path. Let me ask you a couple of things. First, how many bridge designers are in the room? Okay. And contractors? Yeah. No owners, no bridge owners. Okay. And the Tekla users? Okay, we have some. Okay. So if you don't believe me, then you can ask them. Okay. So this is when I started. I was a teenager back in 1988 in my home country, Portugal. And in that time we were doing bridges, and the drawings were by hand drafted. So the difference was that we had time to learn, because we need to think before we put the pen down. So it's very different workflow. It was very different workflow. The designer needed to think, the draftsman needs to think, and then when we were putting the pen down, hopefully was right first time. And the computers changed everything. Just do something, then we change. And then we are always highlighting change management, but not in that time. It was a time-consuming process, but again, we had time to learn. So then eventually everyone will become a very good technician, a very good designer, because we were learning from the older guys there. They were passing the know-how, and it was like that. So this is kind of drawings. They would take a couple of days to produce. And as I said, we need to think, because there was a word in that time that didn't exist. That was delete. In that time, it was erase, literally erase. This is how we were every time we made a mistake. We were doing the change management with this. I was an expert, and even today, I was 18 that time, but even today I can squeeze one of these blades without cutting myself. This is our gadgets. So maybe the most advanced technology there, it was this microfilm machine that we youngsters, we weren't allowed to go there, just the old guys. And when that stuff came to replace the T, normal T, it was, I couldn't sleep. I was so happy. Now I have something that can help me with changing the angles to help me to produce the drawings. So lots of tools. I'm not calling this hardware, but lots of tools. And even more copies. A drawing, a bridge will have what, 25 drawings. The client would ask easily 20 copies of it. And we need to take copies. And in that time, the copies were using Ozalit. Is here anyone that knows those machines? They were using ammonia. So ammonia is a liquid, is nasty. I can guarantee if you are drunk, you smell that thing and then the directness goes. But that is how we were doing the copies. So some advertising from the time, so wasting time, men at work. I think today that this advertisement will pass, and happy days nowadays, not in that time. 60 times faster. Does this ring the bell? So it's the same message. In that time was hardware, but today when we're talking about new technologies, the excuses or the key words are the same. Be more efficient, do it faster. It is exactly the same thing. Then my boss brought the first PC. We were very lucky because this one had hard drive. Because the first PC for text, it had 2 floppy disks, not hard drive. For CAD, we had hard drive. So it was very expensive stuff. AutoCAD, I was teenager, very happy, and he said, that wasn't for me. It's for the older guy, just to do the frame, because we are going always to need the guy to do drawings by hand. Does this ring the bell? We always did this way, we're going to need you there. So I didn't dare to ask him to buy this laptop. So, and I decided to leave. He refused to give me technology to advance my career, to do my job better, so I left. I became a freelancer. I bought my first PC and some gadgets. It took me 6 years to pay that thing, so I never made enough money to pay the investment. And then I needed to work long hours, because one thing is being a driver, always looking into new technologies, another thing is being an entrepreneur. It's completely different. So I ended up working many hours and drinking lots of coffee and making some mistakes. And this is true. I didn't make this, but I met a sales guy in that time, and it was often the CD drive broken, because people, they were doing what you see here. Looks like a joke. But I was having coffee and some tea. This one is more ingenious. And the reason why is because I was, believe it or not, I was very young. So I found a job with a company that had AutoCAD. In that time, I was then doing 2D. I was very happy. And I realized the hardware was being developed more than the software. So I don't know who was pushing who there, but looking back, I think the hardware first was the CPUs, the graphic cards, the plotter machines with the pens. And then after half an hour, the paper would slide and we needed to start again. So when we got the design jet, was wow, now this is it. This is as much as we go in technology, and will be always like this. And then after a while was some laser printers and so on. And the photocopy machines, that fan is there, and probably in that time we needed 2 or 3 fans to cool down the machine because it was jamming all the time. But the hardware was being developed. We were using CAD running under MS-DOS, not Windows. So when Windows appeared, oh, we don't want this. We always used under DOS, so we don't want to change. And then everybody changed. So rings the bell. It's always, every time we have a new technology, there is resistance to change. And then I told my boss, there are some guys abroad, I was in Portugal at that time, there are some guys abroad, they are doing some 3D or no BIM in that time, but they are doing some 3D, some intelligent, I had no idea what BIM was, but I knew they were doing some advanced stuff. And he said, no, we always did that way. I said, hey, a couple of years ago I was doing drawings by hand, and now you tell me this is I need to be stuck to that for the rest of my life. So I left. And I moved into Scotland. They gave me to choose. It was very easy to find a job. We are hard workers. And they gave me to choose between London and Glasgow. I cannot tell you why I picked Glasgow, but no hesitation, I chose Glasgow. I'm very happy with that. I love to be in Scotland. I still live there. So I've seen the cows, I have my kilt. I worked for Sweco, and that time was Kalbro, Danish, and then Grontmij bought Kalbro, Dutch, and then Sweco bought Grontmij, Swedish. So then I worked for WSP and AECOM before I moved into Rhino. So, as I said, I've seen that, I have that, and I wanted to buy this. I love whiskey, and this Macallan, I wanted that. 65 years old, but the salaries are not that good, so I think if I had that money, I'll buy a Tesla instead. So, this is as far as I go in whiskey, and if you like whiskey, this is the best whiskey, and it's only 129 pounds. And it's very nice, 60 degrees, very nice whiskey. Then I start doing rebar detailing. In UK, we have a way to detail rebar, which is a great way. We detail every bar is careful, following the British standards. And we were using software CAD RC that runs under AutoCAD. And I was telling my boss, the building guys, because I was doing bridges, the building guys are doing beam. Can I do beam? Oh, no, no, no. We always did this way. And then I was keep telling and keep promoting beam, and they always said, no. I left. And I was lucky because I left during the crisis, and 2008. But then I was the only survivor in our team for CAD modeler, let's call it like that. And I had 2 months with nothing to do. It was the best 2 months because it was the best opportunity. So I taught myself some Revit, and I was doing some modeling for the client to show the public, and I was doing some pretty pictures. And believe it or not, these are my first, I don't call it BIM, it's 3D modeling pretty pictures projects. So they are so happy. And they wanted me then to keep doing that stuff. And I said, no, this is pretty pictures. So this is not for construction, this is not BIM. And they were saying, okay, what is BIM? I hope you cannot read that because it's there on purpose. So what is BIM or BRIM for bridges? There is no consensus on it. I like to say that is information that is contained inside the objects, and then we collaborate, we pass that object into the contractor, fabricator, and owner. And then if the information is there, it can be used for everybody. During the design stage, during the construction, and then during the asset management or the entire life cycle of the bridge. That is, for me, is BRIM. So it's not 3D modeling, but could be 2D, but needs to contain information, intelligent information, and pass that through the entire life cycle. But wasn't enough, and they were really liked my renders. That one there took me 8 hours to render into a very powerful machine, and I wasn't happy. Okay, the output, I was happy with that, but that's not me. I wanted to model for construction.